Hello, welcome to this first video on my App Inventor series. In this video we're going to have a look at the App Inventor platform, look at how to log on, look at the two different views that we use when designing apps, and just go through some of the basic controls. So to begin with, let's go to the website, which is appinventor.mit.edu. So let's go to that address. Now this homepage has got lots of really useful things on. We've got a getting started guide with sort of how to install the software that you might need. We've got tutorials, we've got teaching resources and forums for asking questions when you get stuck. Let's start by going into the Create area. We'll need to use a Google account to sign in to App Inventor. While this is doing this, just to say that Google Chrome seems to work best with App Inventor. Other browsers do work, but only the latest version of Internet Explorer is reported to work. I've not tried that. I would stick with Chrome if it was me. So we're going to sign in using the Google account. So let's click Continue. And this message here appears because we've not yet made a project. So as you can see here, my project window is empty. We're going to start off, just so I can demonstrate some stuff, I'm going to create a new project and I'm going to call it Test, just for the purposes of this video. And we load up and we're in one of the two views of App Inventor. Now this is called the Designer view. There are two views. The first one over here is called Designer, which is what we're looking at the moment. And the second one is Blocks, which we can see over here, which we're going to look at in just a moment. So the Designer view allows me to design the look and feel of my app that I'm trying to create. Here I can see a blank canvas for my page. This is a screen object, and inside that screen object I can place some other things. So this area shows me what my screen will look like. Over here in my palette I've got lots of options of things that I can add to this screen. Now to add them, I simply drag them from here into my screen. Next to each item in the palette, I've got a little question mark. If I click on these, a little message will pop up explaining what that thing does. There's a link to some further information. We might have several screens on our app. They can be added and removed and named and things from here. This box, when we have multiple components, we can see them listed here. When we add sounds and videos and images to our app, they appear in a list here. And this list is one of the most important sections of this page. This contains all the configuration options for each object. So currently screen 1 is selected, and I can change any of these things about screen 1. One of the key things I might change about a screen is whether it's scrollable or not. This determines how much stuff fits on the screen, so that's an option worth playing with. I can lock the orientation, so it's portrait or landscape. I can change the background colour, so I can do a number of things here. So that's kind of my Designer view. Let's now have a look at the Blocks view. So the Blocks view is much simpler than the Design view. What we have here is we have a main viewer window where I can see code that I've written. Without the code my app won't work. Down here I've got a bin where I can drag blocks that I no longer want or where it made an error. Here I can see the same media list which I had from the other page. Currently it's empty. And here I can see the blocks that are available to me that I can drag in to build my code. These built-in ones here, these are available in every single app that I make, whatever components I put in them. Control contains basic things like how to make decisions, repeat things using loops, that kind of thing. Logic contains some comparative operators, so being able to compare one value with another to see if they're the same, to see if they're different. I've got the values true and false in there. Maths allows me to do calculations and pick random things. Text allows me to work with strings of text, so I might create a variable with a username in there or a player name, I might join two bits of text together. Lists allow me to store a list of different bits of data, so a list of answers or questions or a list of high scores, that kind of thing. Colours allows me to pick from, I think it's 10 standard colours, or create my own. A variable is very important, very useful. A variable allows me to store a single piece of data. This might be a score, it might be a current location, it might be a player name, it might be a true or false is the game's active variable. And finally, procedures. Procedures are bits of code that I might write myself, that can be repeated, reused and recycled over and over and over again. So if I'm making a game and I want to move a sprite around and choose a random position, rather than writing that code lots of times, I might write it once, call it randomize, and every time I want it to happen I just say randomize. We'll look at that more in a future video. And then after that I've got a block here, or a list item for every component in my app. I've only got a screen in my app at the moment, so there's only one thing there. If I click on a component like this, I get a series of options that I can drag into my page. Orange ones, or sort of browny ones like this, these are events. So my screen knows of 5 events that it can respond to. It can respond to the back button being pressed, the back button being pressed. It can respond to an error occurring. It can respond to being initialized or loaded. It can respond to another screen closing. Or it can respond to the phone or tablet being turned, the orientation changing. I can drag one of these in and make some instructions as to what it should do when this happens. The light green ones, they refer to properties. This background colour is probably a better one. They refer to properties, things that I can find out. So if I put that in there, it would go and find out what the screen 1's background colour was, and it would return the value white, because that's what it currently is. The dark green ones allow me to do something to that. So with this one I could say set screen 1 background colour to, I could pick the colour red, and it would change screen 1's background colour to red. So that's a very quick guide of the basics of App Inventor, how the platform works and sort of operates. In the next video we'll make our first app. We'll make a very simple Magic 8 Ball app.